Hello and welcome back to the Small Games Show. I'm back off holiday and to a normal-ish production, and Bordeaux was lovely, thank you for asking. Much needed respite. But today's games have nothing to do with that, so instead we are loading up straight from Itch.io. We have an unhinged maths game, a slightly more hinged hacking minigame, and a chill farming/tile development game. So come join me on this lovely summer's day for a fresh batch of the smallest of games. Educational duck Armageddon gets its sense of humour across immediately. A man is holding your duck wife hostage with a blade to her throat and is demanding that you complete increasingly hard maths questions to save her life. All the voice acting is recorded by a group of people in a room, almost ad-libbing their way through the dialogue, giving it this free-form, jokey feeling, giggling at their own jokes as they come out, as well as heightening the situation, bouncing off one another. There's almost this sense that they ad-libbed the conversation first and then built the game around it. The maths questions themselves, as the video shows very quickly, brought me to smash that Windows button and get the calculator out. Look, I'm sure I could have done some of them, but being fresh from travelling for 24 hours, I felt like I was allowed this crutch so I could see the game. This meant the test became less about maths itself and about knowing the order of operations for more complicated sort of things. So, getting your brackets in the right place, using subtraction and multiplication in the right order. To be fair, as the game got harder, I'm not sure I could have done those harder divisions, at least without brushing up on my skills seriously. It's the problem when you don't do maths since high school. But this all seems to be part of the deranged joke of the stupidly elevated situation. There's not much else to see, but it's a wonderfully silly game, and if you're the sort of person that the maths section of Countdown makes you salivate, then it might offer a little more for you. The next game today is going to be Crawlspace, a game that I'm sure told me its rules as I was playing, but it took me a little while to actually internalise them. It's one of those games that takes place in the grand scheme of hacking mini-games. We've had everything from Pipe Dream in Bioshock to word matching in Fallout. It is a space that's been very explored in games, but I'm always up for an interesting take. Crawlspace is much more like Deus Ex Human Revolution, moving from node to node through this infinite feeling cyberspace, but expanded into its own thing. As you go from node to node, you are seeking money, which is represented by a $sign. In your way are blocked doors that you must pass through a key to unlock, but if you pass through that key again it relocks. You also have nodes that spawn Pac-Man style ghost enemies that will chase you down unless you get to the node first to deactivate them. There are also these screen wipes, the ability to split off cones that will go and grab things and neutralise enemies in the level, as well as the ability to move to the next level down, giving you this brief moment to actually think about your next move. The most devious of the nodes are the switches that will change the direction they will force you along each time you pass through them, often perfectly holding you up from moving where you want to go and letting those ghosts in the system chase you. This all fits together into a quickly progressing mapping game of sorts, where the forward momentum keeps you safe, mostly. Often moving too quickly is how you end up moving through traps or getting enemies chasing you down in a one-way system. It becomes a game of recognising how the layouts may change, how they might actually produce in front of you, taking the opportunities as quickly as possible, whilst remaining swift enough to never be caught. It really comes together into a neat little thing. Even if it felt like it was not properly explained, it became quite easy to internalise between failed runs. I would recommend it to anyone who wants to see a more expanded hacking game. Our last game today is Farmkeeper. Have you ever played those Euro-style tile board games? Ones where you're building a machine with the pieces as they are randomly given to you, where you're trying to get the most output possible. This game manages to create a single player one of those, where you're given a small plot of land and a certain amount of energy to work each day. The end game is to build a mansion which will mark the land well enough for it to be your own, and not having to pay steeply increasing rent every few days to your quirky landlord. Your energy can be spent tilling the soil, planting crops and then watering them. Each crop has a different lifestyle and requirement for water, but as these stipulations increase, so does the amount that they will sell for. Every day you get to pick from 3 new tiles and place them, which tend to open more options, such as the farmer that you can give 1 gold to work the land around them, a windmill that speeds up plant growth nearby, or a fishing boat that will give a steady income that takes no energy to grab. With a lot of these tiles having effects on nearby tiles, your job is to build a system that gives the most outputs for the least amount of energy, so being smart with your placement is the best way to win. This is a demo on itch, but as you go up the difficulties that are available in the full game, you're required to pay a higher amount of rent to not get your land confiscated. So it creates this situation that's very chill, relaxing game of building and understanding systems that suddenly gets your land taken away from you by that pesky landlord and having to start over. But with each game lasting only for an hour or so, it doesn't feel too punishing, instead giving you the space to learn the systems at play. I really enjoyed my time with this game, so go and play the demo. And if you enjoy this sort of thing, well, go buy it. That's all for today, folks. I think my next game is going to cover a bit of a larger one, set in an area that I've just been on holiday to with delicious watercolour art style. So hold on for that one. Thank you for watching. If you are enjoying the work I'm doing covering the smaller side of games, then please drop a like, comment on the video, or all the other things that you can do to support. You know what they are. Subscribe for more videos on small games. My name has been Billy. Peace.